Hello, podcast listener. My name is Islaine, and I'm the host of Couch Potatoes. Joined by my co-host Jewel, we take an unfiltered look at the gaming world, featuring viewpoints and opinion from all corners of the globe. We talk about what we've been playing, news and social issues that surround the industry, make fun of idiots on the internet, and highlight folks from our blogging community. Couch Potatoes is a weekly podcast with new episodes releasing each Friday. You can find our show at couchpotatoes.libsyn.com. We are also a member of TGen, otherwise known as the Gaming and Entertainment Network, where you'll find a multitude of high-quality shows. TGen can be found at tgenetwork.net. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy gaming.
Well, yes, Brent, this will be a very reduced length show. We're all meeting up this weekend for a fantasy football draft.
Oh, nice.
So we are jam-packed. So we will want to make it as short as possible for editing purposes.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the doc right now. So we have a couple things to talk about, so we can knock that out, spend some time, and then probably wrap it up. And unfortunately, listeners probably won't be on after show tonight.
Probably.
I have to go tend to my sick wife.
Mm-hmm. Just pat her on the back while you're eating a sandwich with one hand. There. Oh,
and then go put the dish to the sandwich in the sink and be like, hey, these aren't going to clean themselves.
Really need to get these done before we leave.
Yeah.
We have company this weekend. How about you stop being sick for a second?
It's from webcasting on the floor, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe's not always sick. She's had a rough year. She had
Poison ivy.
She had poison ivy, and then she had back problems, then poison ivy, and now this, I think, is more like allergies. The weather in Michigan is freaking crazy right now.
Yeah.
Went from 90s to the last couple of days. The high's been like in the 60s, upper 70s.
Yeah, it's been a little cooler around here. I'm not too far south of you.
I think I'm like, 15 hours south of you?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, do we want to
boys
go ahead and get started?
Sure.
Who's going to read the pre-show?
You are.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't have mentioned that. That's fine.
To smelt it, dealt it, or something like that?
Yeah.
He who articulated it, particulated it.
This is the MMO Show, episode 10, recorded on Thursday, August 27th, 2015.
All right, party people.
We're playing as life allows and podcasting about it. It's the MMO Show.
Mm-hmm. That's not good.
No.
We ready?
All right. Ready?
You started.
Well, hopefully my internet will hold up through this, because I think that's me. If there's any lag in the voice here, it's my wife probably watching. Jason suggested Grey's Anatomy. I don't know
She's
what
on
she's
season
watching.
8 right now?
Probably. Yeah. I don't know that she's ever actually watched Grey's Anatomy.
What is she watching then?
God, should I go out and look?
No, I'd rather you take a guess.
Take a guess as to what she's watching. I know she started up Netflix. There's that one Frankie and whatever show that's the Netflix original.
I don't think that's a thing.
It is a thing. It's got a couple dames on it.
Fringe, maybe?
No.
That's a great show.
She doesn't watch that.
The show gets good. Just skip season 1, get into the meat.
I totally agree. Yep. Season 1, or I don't say skip season 1. I say watch the last couple episodes when it starts to really pick up.
Yeah, just realize it'll be a different show. I mean, it's still like good, but it definitely gets better.
Wouldn't it have been great if they had done just renamed the show The Bishop Boys and it focused on those guys?
Start taking down supernatural things.
Yeah, and kind of gotten rid of Olivia, because she was always the weak link of the show.
Yeah.
But it's a great show. That's probably not what your wife's watching, though, right?
No.
Yeah. But if you want to check out Fringe for free, just go to netflix.com/
Fringe.
Yeah.
No, Fringe is a great show, but she's probably watching something as cool.
No, not possible.
Scandal.
Is she watching Scandal?
Scandal's good.
I don't think that's it. That
one will
Revenge.
surprise you too.
Revenge is another one.
Do you want me, I will seriously go find out what she's watching.
Yeah, I kind of want to know now. Yeah.
Okay. You
Just
hold
pull
on.
up
I'll be
Netflix
right
and
back.
see what's on the
Keep the
Yeah.
show running.
watch.
Recently watched or what? Yeah, what episode you can resume?
That'll get you in trouble.
You know, there was a while where Netflix, Shannon and I were both logging in, and someone I can't remember what was the show, but there was some show. Oh, it was on Prison Break, and we kept like watching our own shows, and finally, I think she said to me like, "You're really into Prison Break, huh?" And I said, no, but I thought the same thing of you because we kept seeing Prison Break being watched. And like episode after episode, then we finally realized that someone had hacked into her account and was just watching it. So I finally we changed their password and that didn't work. And they were like getting close to the end, like it was the last season episode kept going up. So I finally figured out how to do like a force reset. So whoever goes to log in your account on any device has to like put in their credentials. And
Yeah.
I think I got whoever it was right before the season finale. So we took some pleasure in that there was someone sitting there with Prison Break blue balls who never got to watch the last
Did
episode.
they get out of the Mexican prison?
I
We'll
don't
never
know. I don't want to pony up $8.
That's funny because that's what happened when we got hacked. They tell you that now click this button because it'll make them have to log out. Like so.
That's what
They
it was.
could stay there forever if you didn't know that and just
That's-
keep using your account.
That's exactly what it was. And I think like it took us they almost got through the end of the show before we finally figured that out, and it was driving us nuts because in the end it wasn't like charging us extra, but it drove us nuts that someone was getting a free ride on our shit.
And then you're like, oh, suddenly these like Prison Escape 4 is like up in your recommended, and you're like,
yeah.
just really throwing our whole vibe off. Like I had an idea for a movie a long time ago off TiVo, like where the TiVo went rogue and started playing like all these like creepy and death shows and turned this guy into like a killer who was like just watching TiVo, the suggested stuff, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, he becomes like what he was watching and starts dextering everybody.
Jeez, it's a dark road when you get into those hacked TV services.
Especially if they're like My Little Ponies and the My Little Ponies convention.
Mm-hmm. Or it might be weird if you see them watching stuff like Prison Break and My Little Ponies. Like, where are they going?
I have returned.
Yeah. Should we have a drum roll to?
You can if you want.
Okay.
West Wing.
Did you guys make any more guesses while I was out?
No, we pretty much talked about sexy My Little Ponies.
Shanking people.
Yeah.
Wow. I just watched that episode of Bob's Burgers.
Yep.
Anyways, the show that she is watching is called The Finder.
Oh, the Finder. That's that'll end because one of the main guys dies in real life.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan died, and he was in that show.
So and that was a spinoff of
Bones.
Bones. Yeah. Another
Did you
really good-
break the news to her that Michael Clark MCD is dead?
I think she knew because she was asking. She was like, "Well, only was on this one season." I was like, "Well, that dude died," and she was like, "Yeah, that's probably why." She goes, "I think I knew that."
That show was canceled before he died. But
Well, if you look it up, here's the weird thing about The Finder. And I know this is supposed to be the MMO show. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but if you look it up on Wikipedia, it refers to it as if the show is still going on.
I've noticed that quite a few shows with MIDB or IMDb where
they have not officially canceled it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that with shows that have been off the air for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like the what was it? There's one the Gladiator one. Like it had
American Gladiator.
2 seasons, and it was brutal, and there was boobs everywhere, and it was really
Spartacus?
good. Spartacus, and
the
then
boobs is what did it for us. Okay.
right, and then they had to stop it because the main dude got cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
And so then they went back and did like prequels for a
Yes.
season,
Mhm.
and then they came back and did the new one, which was
That was
I won't
Younger
say it.
boobs.
okay. No, that was a really weird one because they didn't. Because I'm a fan of that show. They did the first season, and the guy who played Spartacus got cancer, so they did a prequel show to buy him some time, and that was a really good show. And then they came back, and I think he might have started filming, but he died like pretty suddenly. So they did another prequel season, and then they came back with an actor recast as Spartacus. It ended up all tying together really well. That's a great show if you can handle tons of gore and lots of boob.
Yeah,
I-
if you have,
Yeah, I can.
if you saw the first Conan and you were like, "That's good stuff,"
The
it's good.
showrunner who ran that is the guy who ended up going on to run the Daredevil Netflix show, which, yeah, it's really good. So,
And speaking of Daredevil,
Mhm.
let's get right into MMO news.
makes sense.
Mix this shit up. Go to not that we're not being paid by ArenaNet or anything, but you can go to guildwars2.com and check out the new Thief Elite specialization, which is called the Daredevil.
I hadn't even seen that. What is it?
Yes. If I remember correctly, the Thief is getting a staff.
So
like
they got,
people to do his mail and stuff for him.
he's
Yes.
got things to do. Someone's got to order all those caltrips for him.
I need a new dagger. Someone
All
go get
that
it for
Yes.
me.
binding powder. I mean, it doesn't just show up.
No,
That's
gotta
good.
have connections in the land of Tyria. And the Thief, yes, they are getting a staff. Essentially, it kind of looks like a bow staff. So you are the closest thing to Donatello that Guild Wars 2 will ever have.
Okay, so it's not like magic staff. It's like fuck you up, friar.
No, it is
Like a
I
monk.
am evading like a mofo, dodging like crap. So for us that like the Friar and Dark Age of Camelot, Jason,
Yeah, I'm
Talking to
one
you.
of those, yeah.
this is your shit.
Okay.
So speaking of,
I just
rogue-
got my thief to max level.
Perfect.
Yeah,
now you can get
I-
a staff.
haven't played them, but
Yeah. What's that, Brent?
So now you can get a staff. Infection.
Oh,
we're gonna
Yes.
healer
Oh.
to help that.
So what happened to the Bard class in MMOs? I think this is a serious subject.
maybe that'll be the topic for the night. Where the hell's the Bard?
We'll come back to that.
14.
We'll come back to that.
Final Fantasy 14 does have a Bard class.
Yeah,
Oh.
straight up bard class. Yeah.
There you
Mhm.
go. Well, we don't need to
Play-
talk about it more then.
No, we can talk about it.
That's
No,
what
no,
happened to it. It went to Final Fantasy 14.
We have solved this issue now. We can move on.
No, okay. Well,
But it is a class that, like I think back to the time of EverQuest and Dark Age of Camelot and how essentially every realm in Dark Age kind of had their own bard, right? There was
yeah,
the
they have
bard,
the Scald,
and then
Minstrel,
Scald.
and
the bard.
yeah,
Wasn't-
yeah,
what-
yeah. It was bard. Yeah,
Yeah, Hibernia was the bard, I would thought. And yeah, the minstrel and the Scald. Scald was amazing. He yelled at people.
He was a yeller.
yeah. He
He
shouted.
was.
Hmm.
He let it all out. Shout.
And twist.
We need Shannon on this show, guys.
She's the eggs that solidify the show.
Our
Yeah.
our meatballs.
Yeah,
The breadcrumbs.
Ooh, there you go.
Isn't
She's
that
so
a-
carby.
isn't
yeah.
that
But
a,
I mean, outside of like
emulsifier?
other MMOs, is there
Mhm.
that type of? Okay, so what are the other big ones right now? You have Old Republic, which I mean, there's nothing like that
No, that's kind of hard to compare that to any.
because it's not a
I
fantasy.
mean, it's a fantasy. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fantasy class.
Yeah. And WoW announced, a new class, and it's not a bard, and they don't have a bard.
yeah.
Like I
that's
almost
true.
think it's so off the beaten path, like a bard, that they can't throw it into their like cookie cutter shells in the games.
Right.
And
Yeah, what's their problem?
To be fair, I don't think. I mean, Guild Wars doesn't really have anything like that because. I mean, do they?
I'm trying to think, but I don't believe they do.
I think the concept of a bard, the way it's been represented, is such like a holy trinity thing that it would be really hard to do in Guild Wars because that
Well,
bard has to be self-sufficient in everything.
yeah, it's a utilitarian support class.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Guild Wars has things that are closer to utility, I guess, but the game is so based on its weapons, and without adding instruments, then there's not going to be such a thing as a bard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the other? I mean, I'm thinking like Wildstar and Secret World, but those aren't fantasy based.
No, I
No.
didn't get into Arcade. Did it have anything like that?
Steve, do you have a comment?
Fuck Arcade.
Oh, really? Is it a piece of crap?
I don't know, Steve. Were you disappointed with it, or
Again, we need Shannon so that we can double up on the hate for Arcade.
Oh, wow.
That game started. That was quite literally the first 3 or 4 weeks of playing that game. That was my next big thing. That was the game. That was it. There wasn't going to be anything else that touched it ever, because it was everything that I wanted. It did everything right that I wanted in an MMO, and then they implemented a lot of pay to win stuff with the end game, and just how they were handling bots and hackers was just. It was non-responsive. It was an awful mess.
it got even weirder where they shut down the server like without real explanation. And remember that, like with that week period where you didn't know if the game was even coming back up.
Right.
Fucking weird.
It's
It
horrible.
sounds like that Russian company who was running that zombie game into the ground with the pay to win stuff and horrible servers.
It's kind of the same idea, yeah. It's just awful.
Oh, well, that's sad to hear. I mean, I played it like 2 days, but that 2 days I was like, well, that's really pretty, and the mechanics were there. And then I went back and played WoW, I think.
Yeah.
The ruiner of all MMOs. But yeah.
Yeah,
we're
looking through the class list of Arcade, though, I am not seeing a bard.
A bard. In chat, Hardway said Lord of the Rings. They have a bard.
Yeah.
I think they did, right?
I thought they did.
What was the one kind of chanting healer class? I played it. And I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, they were like a bard. They would like have songs and stuff.
Well, there is a bard. It says the bard is a class of non-player character in Lotro.
Oh, you could straight up play songs, but I think there is a combat class that.
Well, no, you can play. I believe you can play instruments in the game, but it is not part of a class. Bards
Just pull out your drum set, go to it.
Well, bards sell standard musical instruments
Runekeeper?
for
Minstrel.
player-made.
There was a straight up minstrel class though that you played. Yep.
There you go.
So there you go. That's one.
Okay. I've just been playing the wrong games.
This is a heavy research show of the MMO show, so
Yeah, we use yeah.
constantly look up stuff. But we can skip all that stuff. Do we want to get into what we've been playing in the MMO realm?
Sure.
What's up, Brent?
What's up? I don't think it's any surprise that I've been continuing playing EverQuest 1.
That was going to be my question. Are you still in that?
I am still in that heavily. I have 2 accounts now.
Jesus, we talked
You're
about that
fucking
last week.
dual boxing, yeah. It came up last week.
Anybody want to have a guess of what level my main tune is now?
Okay, so let me ask, how long have you been dual boxing?
Well, I do it on the side. Like I don't have a second character that's high enough to play with my Necro. And so the thought was I was going to play those 2 other characters with like Shannon and Spencer's. They leveled up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never really see anybody on, and I wanted to get my main up high level too to go do cool stuff. So I haven't been dual boxing much. I've really just been wasting extra money. That's what it comes down to.
So when you actually dual box, what are you doing?
I have a druid. Well, I have two pairs right now. One's a druid warrior combo, and so I'll have the warrior sit there and be beating the crap out of stuff, and the druid will heal them and put thorns on them, snare stuff, and then shoot fire at stuff. And then I have a mage monk combo where the monk and the mage will, destroy stuff.
So it seems low intense situations to where you can manage healing it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. I don't use any macros. They actually don't mind people using macros, and this is kind of one of the big things that's going on the servers. There are actually people who will what they call megabox, and they use programs like isboxer and no shitting you, 24 characters at one time.
I dated a girl in high school we called Megabox.
Yeah.
And so they will sit there and have just 24 characters running around, and basically they can have them automatically do all the same keystrokes. So they'll have 24 of like the same class, right? And they'll just sit there and send 24 pets on something because they love mages. So that's kind of a big thing. So I don't use anything like that, but I thought about using it just so it'd make it boring for me or something. I don't know.
Like 6 months from now, he's going to have computers all over the house with like a pulley system with a bunch of marionettes. It'll look like the Rocket music video.
It's either going to be, like Pee-wee Herman has a bunch of computers, or he's going to go the other way. It's going to look like the Batcave.
Well, that's the great thing with EverQuest. It's such a kind of shitty graphics game that they can run 24 games on one computer.
Are you doing it on one monitor or two?
I usually do it on two monitors, but I mean, with this program, they can actually have mini cameras inside their main GUI of all their characters and see what they're seeing. It's really crazy stuff, and it actually works for other games. It's not just EverQuest. It's just EverQuest doesn't mind because they're like, oh, you want to spend how much a month on this game? Let's do this.
You go, buddy.
They're all for it. Like some guy was even asking on the forums the other day, like if you need to report his Chronos buying on his taxes, because he had like 60 Chronos, which is like you can buy Chronos, which is a month of game time, and then sell it in game for gold. And he had 60 of them. And these boxers, they're going around all the time going, I need to buy Chronos, because they go and farm so much gold that they are basically playing for free, even though they're running around 24 characters.
Jeez. I remember dual boxing in Dark Age of Camelot on one monitor without any programs. So like there was always that crazy time lag where, okay, I'm going to leave this one and alt tab and go to the other one. And sometimes that'd be like a good 30, 40 seconds and hope nothing bad happened. And a lot of times it did.
Bad stuff can happen.
So I know Shannon's not in the show tonight, but she's been trying to log in as much as she can this past week. She's still super hooked. It sounds like obviously you are, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like I was telling a friend the other day, I was like, it's really odd to come back to EverQuest after so long and be like, I am having more fun than I've had in any MMO that I've played since EverQuest. Like it's like almost wish I'd never left, except for they ruin it later on in the game, right? After Planes of Power, it goes to shit, and that's why this progression server is so much fun as you get the original. They did it right with itemization. I'm a big believer in that's where they score over any other MMO. Like you don't just kill something and get, the breastplate of the owl, right? Like just random stuff going around.
We got to kill an owl.
Like if you kill this crap in the world, you're going to get leather pieces and maybe later on some bronze armor. Nothing with like real magic stats. Right, you got to go kill named stuff, and that named stuff is always there, so you know where it is, and like you're getting gear. Like I'll have a piece right now that I will probably wear all the way through the highest level right now, because their gear is so it's not rarefied. So like 45 of this, 40 billion strength on something. It's 3 strength on something. You're like, oh, that's an awesome item.
Yeah.
And it kind of stays like that.
Yeah. Does it seem like, given that these servers have been going on a little bit, are there a lot of people there playing?
On the yeah, I'd say so. I mean, like at prime time, there'll be 30, 40 people in a zone
Okay.
that you're in, and the two servers that are the TLP servers, the some whatever progression servers, are they're most popular servers. If you look on their server list, they're the ones that are always the most full, and they're the only servers you have to pay to be on. Like the rest are free to play.
Okay.
Really?
Matter of fact, the test server, not only is it free to play, you get all the expansions free on the test server. Which that's the server I used to play on like full time, was the test server, which is it was a different experience. But,
so
everything's broken.
But what level? So what level you think?
Oh, okay.
It's been 2 weeks.
What's
right?
the cap level?
50 is the cap.
Okay.
I think I was around 20 something last time.
You're 50.
No, okay. Don't answer, because that's not my guess. You're going 50, Slurms?
Yeah, I'm saying max level. He's there.
I'm going 31.
No, wait, shit. I shouldn't have said that, because he just said that he's got an item that he can take to end game. I'm going to say 42.
34.
Oh,
Okay. I'm the
God.
closest without going over.
34.
Yeah.
And actually yesterday I was 34 and I went to 33 and then got 34 again. Because if you know EverQuest, you actually lose experience when you die.
That's right.
And I got this new spell as a Necro where it eats away at me but gives me mana, and I always forget. So I was just sitting in the bank, and all suddenly it's like, you're dead. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I just leveled, gone back to the bank, but then a priest was in the city. I was like, could you please res me? Because here's the other cool thing. A res matters with that experience loss. You get 90% experience back on a 49 level res. So like people will be like, I need a res 500 platinum. Because I mean, that's an hour of work.
Wow.
When you say that, it totally makes me remember just how big that was of a deal.
Because I remember when I first played, I was a cleric, and I got to, I think 46 was when you could go onto the plains, and at the same time you got your complete heal or res. So they were like, yeah, come on up, it'll be fine. Went up, died, lost my level, and had to actually go play for like 3 or 4 hours with like crap equipment to get my level back, and then wait for the next raid to go up to the Plane of Hate to go get my corpse so I could loot it and get all my gear back. Luckily now you keep your gear when you die, but back then you had to actually go find your corpse and loot it. It was brutal, but it meant something. Like it actually feels like you accomplished something.
It makes the accomplishments actually mean that much more.
Yeah,
so that's
kind of exactly what Shannon was saying, and if I don't know if I still have the patience for that, but hearing like those type of stories brings back memories that kind of make me think. If I don't have an MMO to play, I definitely want to go back and at least mess with it and see if it is still fun.
Yeah, because I could just be still hating WoW from having to play it this year. Who knows?
One last question. So
yes,
you. From the way you and Shannon, I've asked Shannon a bunch of questions about how this whole progressive server thing works. They're voting on the expansions to come out, correct?
Kind of, yes. So how? Okay, ask first.
You talked about where everything went to crap after Plane of Power. Is there talk in the community of we want everything good to come in except all that crap?
No, eventually everything will come in, but I mean, we're talking years, because how it works is, first, I believe there's at least 6 months between each expansion. So first, what has to happen is, you have to kill all the main bosses in that expansion. And then once you have killed all those bosses, the let's see, our vote is in December. So yeah, that'd be 6 months after the bosses. So yeah, 6 months after you kill all the bosses in that expansion, they have a vote on the server, and you go to the Priest of Discord and you can vote with him somehow. I haven't done it yet, but if it passes, then they will move on to the next expansion. If not, they wait 2 weeks, I think, and then vote again. It's either 2 weeks or a month, I forget. And then you'll vote for the next expansion. So I mean, we're talking, even if the guilds are like right there on the stuff, at least 6 to 8 months between expansions. And Plains of Power was like the 4th expansion. So we're talking at least 3 to 4 years before that. And I still like Plains of Power. It was just kind of the beginning of the end.
Right.
It really made because it ended really need for transportation, because you could just pour it up there and everywhere. After that, then the expansions kind of got crappy in some other ways. But I've got to be done within another 3 years, right? And
No,
I start on another TLP server.
Yeah, that kind of time, like, people aren't going to be freaking out. They're just going to enjoy it. I didn't really get the sense, are they adding stuff like every month or two to where that end is nigh for certain people who don't like that kind of thing? But
Right.
no, it sounds like that is so far off that people can just enjoy it for what it is right now.
Yeah, and there's another server at the same time called Ragefire. We're on Lockjaw. Ragefire is a sped up server in the fact that they just voted for the new expansion, so they're actually getting the new expansion. Or no, they just had the vote. I don't know if it passed or not. So they could be getting the new expansion, like, I guess, any day, week now. And they had server transfers for free where you could transfer between these two servers. So if you wanted to be on a faster pace, you could move over there. It sounds like I know way too much about 15, 18-year-old game, but I even started a website with like an auction house and guild listings and news. It's,
You're all in.
I am. It's up there with Tweet Seed. That's another site I started. And I don't really have time to do them all, though.
Well, that's fantastic, though. I'm so happy that you're enjoying that.
That's awesome to see that kind of community is popping up and people are enjoying that. That's awesome.
The Cinderella story.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go, because we're not going to keep the show going too long, let's talk a little bit about some Final Fantasy. Jason,
Yes,
I understand that you've been doing some crafting.
I have, and I didn't really do it before when I played crafting, that is. And I don't like crafting in most MMOs. And so far, what I've done in this is, I wouldn't say it's wildly different, but it's different enough to where there's some active engagement to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that I think has really gotten me into it is when you sit down and do it, because I have been avoiding it. I'm gonna play these other combat classes and focus on that, because that's typically what I like, and crafting sucks. But when I sat down for a lazy night the other night, to where I really didn't want to do anything else, and started up some crafting stuff, the way that they dole out quests and kind of make it its own actual class, even though you're not doing combat,
Right.
it's got me really hooked, because there's the crafting stuff, which they do a good job of having you actively engaged, to where you are unlocking skills for your crafting, and you have to input during your crafting, and you get bonuses for doing certain things. But they actually make it like, no, you need to go do this, and it acts like a quest in the game, just like any other quest.
Yeah, totally. Like,
yeah,
I've had one that I had one that was a real pain in the butt before, and I'm sure they're only going to get harder, is for the Weaver. I had to craft a high quality piece of like velveteen cloth or whatever, and the only way that you could get like the base materials in high quality is to go either buy it off of the market board or farm these basically the diormites. They're these scorpions that to get the dew thread, and then you would get the diorite webs and then turn that into the dew thread, and then if you got high quality of that, then you could try to use that and get the bonuses from the high quality thread to make the cloth. So it was like this constant process. I think I spent probably, gosh, a couple hours farming that stuff so that I could get enough high quality materials just to attempt to make that stuff, and finally got it. So it's got those like the time soaking hooks into it. Like I said, if you have the money, you can just buy some of the stuff off the the market board. But yeah, it's stuff will get harder with the quest. But I found that like at the crafting, what craft are you going with right now?
I went with cooking,
Okay.
and then that led me into fishing, which I've actually liked the most so far.
And see,
I usually hate fishing in MMOs.
See, I haven't played either of those yet, and fishing's like the next one I kind of want to get into. But Weaver is the one that I've kind of put the most effort into. And so far with any of the crafting disciplines or even the gathering disciplines, I've found that it's been very interesting that as the levels have gone on, especially once you get past like 30, kind of like the rest of the classes in the game, it just gets more interesting to play them. So
Yeah.
I'm finding it very kind of not eye-opening, but refreshing to see that there's a crafting system that I enjoy. Because crafting's, like you said, you never have really liked crafting. Crafting's always one of those things that I really want to enjoy in a game, but have rarely ever enjoyed it. Ultimately, I've always wanted an MMO where I could craft all of my own stuff and not have to worry.
Right.
Like, if I have to worry from about someone else, it's that I need to get some material from them from a craft that I don't do myself.
And I think
and-
this game has a better chance than a lot of the other ones, just because you can do everything in one character.
Mhm.
So you could theoretically build up every crafting class to max
Yeah, you
level.
could.
Yeah, to where you're not having to. Like, I remember the crafting I got the most into was Dark Age of Camelot, of course, and I had maxed out a couple crafting classes, but then you still had to hire like a master crafter in another profession
to
and
make you something.
yeah, but you're probably gonna have to spend all the time in this game, but you could do it. You could do it to where you're not depending on anybody else for any of that stuff.
Yep.
So what are you actually crafting? Is it stuff that you use, or do you sell for the most part just to work up your skills? Like I guess that's kind of what most MMOs do. You make a bunch of crap that you don't actually use to.
Depends on the job,
Skill
but
up.
a lot of it, like the reason I went with Weaver is because most of the classes or like secondary jobs and stuff that I was going to do was like caster type stuff. So I'm going to make a lot of cloth stuff, or I'll make a lot of cloth get ups for crafting, because there are like suits of armor that have bonuses to gathering and crafting. So I kind of was going down that path with it. And so
Are you like making like a bunch of shirts early on that you just sell back to the vendor?
No, actually, it's kind of almost opposite. I end up making a lot of raw material because the crafting in Final Fantasy, I guess I'll explain like what goes down in it. You go to whatever guild, like if I want to be a weaver, okay, I'm going to go to the weavers guild and say, yes, I want to be a weaver. Then you go talk to the master and he says, okay, here's a base quest real quick. Here's the first item that you need. Like, here's this thread or this needle and thread. Use this to make me 10. So you equip that, and when you equip it, boom, suddenly you're the weaver class, and you can, that's a completely new set of armor that you have that you can set up. So you can then take that, and then you go into the crafting menu. You have all of the base level stuff readily available to you. So like anything that's level 1 through 5, here's all the stuff that you can make as a weaver. He wants you to make these like 5 spools of thread or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember at this point in time, but you have to get the base components, the raw mats, to make that. So you can either go and switch to be another secondary class that can get those, like out in the wild as a gatherer, or you can just go over to the vendor over here and buy them. And you can do that for the first, like, I don't know, 20 levels. But then after that, it becomes a thing that you either need to go buy the stuff off the market board, or which is like the auction house, or you need to go out and become the gathering class that can get it yourself. Or know somebody that can get it to you from your free company. Anyways, so at base level, you have like, okay, I'm going to make this thread, but I have to have this cotton, let's say, for example. So I buy the cotton off the vendor, and then you go into almost like combat versus the thing that you're going to craft. And you have abilities that will either
try to control it. It kind of seems
you're trying to control
minimize your fuck up of a crafting.
Right.
Sounds a lot like EverQuest 2, how they did their trade skills.
It might be. I have never played EverQuest 2, especially not in the crafting. I played EverQuest 2, but I never did the crafting in it. But you sit down and you get an ability that will raise your chance to get a high quality item, but that spends basically like the crafting mana, if you want to call it that. I can't remember the exact term for it right now, but so you can use that stuff up, but you also only have so many times that you can attempt to do anything to this item before it just breaks and you run out of attempts. But then later on, you get a skill that will give you back more attempts, and then there's this like big balancing act of, am I going to try to increase the quality, or am I gonna go ahead and try to craft the thing? And then there's also this added mechanic of anything that you craft, there's this little bright light on the thing that you're crafting, and it's either like white, or it's red, or it's flashing multiple colors, or it's purple, and each one of those colors actually signifies like an increased or decreased chance of adding additional like quality to the item. So you have to pay attention to that as well. So you'll do something and you'll like, okay, I'm gonna do this maneuver to add quality to it, and then you'll do it, and then, well, fuck, the thing just turned red. If I do an additional quality move now, I'll get even more, but then I might screw that up. It's a complete balancing out. It's really fun. Like I said, it's the best way I can put it is that you're kind of fighting the thing that you're making.
Right. That sounds cool.
It is really cool.
It's, I was really surprised that I had wasted as much time as I had. I don't want to say wasted, but kind of, I usually loathe crafting so much that I had spent some time, then looked at the clock. I'm like, holy shit, I did that much just crafting and questing.
It's one of those things that, like, the reason I'm still only like 37 in the game. I think like 2 weeks ago on the show, I think I was just talking about how I hit 35 or whatever. But I think I'm about 38, and part of that's because of crafting, because I get going on this side stuff in the game and then realize I just spent the last 3 nights either crafting or doing chocobo racing or whatever. And I think it's why I'm soaking so much time into the game and enjoying it. But it's something I have to be mindful of, that I don't want to get burnt out doing all this stuff and not trying to get to the end game.
But I mean, that's a good point for me. This past week, I have soaked a ton of time, more time than I've soaked into an MMO, and I don't know how long. But what keeps surprising me is just how many things I'm naturally discovering to do in the game. Like there's a lot of shit to do besides just running out and killing stuff, and I didn't expect any of that, and I'm really enjoying that part.
Yeah.
Like I just learned how to train my chocobo and do all that. I haven't done a bunch of research in the game, but I didn't even know that was a thing. And then I went to the housing for the guild and saw all this shit. I'm like, how come no one told me about any of this? But
don't go in that room. That's where they choke the chocobos. Anyway.
Oh, I went in there and that was fucked up. But I got kind of a boner, so whatever.
Hi, I'm Bo. Wait, no.
Yeah. Never mind. But
And now killing chocobos is the only thing that gets me off.
it does.
Speaking
I
of
just
getting
want to
off,
feel something.
Speaking of getting off, what's up? We getting off this train?
I don't know. It's I think we've been talking almost an hour now. We're gonna do like 30 minutes and then
We should probably.
Yes, this is a short show. Again, I think I said it at the beginning of the Twitch stream, but it is our get-together weekend. We're having a fantasy football draft. I know that's not very MMO-like, but that would be the reason for the short show. We have a very limited amount of editing time. Not that we edit that heavy anyways, but with that, I guess I will bid you adieu. And with a question that I asked myself on the way to my son's soccer practice, that if Paula Dean and Dean Kane married, but then he got a job as the dean of a university, would he be Dean if he took her name?
Get the fuck out of here.
Is it as yeah? Okay, no, I'll go with what he said. Yeah.
All right, yep. All right, get the fuck out of here, I guess.
All right. That's fine.
Said like a
Fuck it.
pro.
Put that to bed. Let's log off.
Show is in the can. Thanks for listening to the MMO Show. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to email.themmoshow@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and various other social media at The MMO Show, and visit our website at themmoshow.com. I don't know if I'm into this anymore.
Let's just cancel it.
Yeah.